the Rambler Network.
Hello, welcome back to Casablanca. In this episode, I'm talking about Big Eyes, which is a 2014 biopic directed by Tim Burton and starring Amy Addams and Christoph Waltz. It's based on the true story of Margaret Keane. So, Margaret Keane was a painter who did Big-Eyed Children, and she became famous in the 1950s and 60s. However, her husband, Walter Keane, claimed to be the artist and built a whole empire around her work, while Margaret was forced to paint in secret, and he took credit publicly. So, that's the premise of the movie. Before I even knew her name, before I knew any of the context of the story, I had seen a bunch of those paintings around in my life, and I'd known of them, and so when I saw they were making a movie about this, I was like, oh yeah, I've seen those before. I saw it was directed by Tim Burton, and I was confused. This is a very non-Tim Burton movie. It doesn't feel like anything else he's directed. However, there is a personal connection. He's a long-time collector of her art, so it's a deeply personal project. So that explains that. There is one scene, however, that does feel more like a Tim Burton movie, where basically the big-eyed characters are in the live action. I'm like, okay, there's the Tim Burton isms that we're used to. And so, like, the movie basically tells the whole story, where she meets Walter, and he claims to be an artist, he claims to be this, he claims to be that, and as the story progresses, it turns out, he's not entirely honest about anything. His name might not even be what he says he was at one point, and it all culminates in a trial. Because like she decides to come out and was like, hey, I'm actually the artist, and then there goes a trial, and so the judge is like, the only way to really settle this is to have y'all paint. And so Margaret starts painting, and Walter keeps making excuses. Oh, my shoulder hurts, I can't, it's not a good work environment for me. And like that court scene was very insane. While I'm watching it, I'm thinking, there's no way this happened. They're making this part up. But then like on the Blu-ray, there's this bonus feature thing. It has they're like at a Comic-Con or something, like a panel, and they have like the actual Margaret Keane there. She was I think she was like in her 80s at the time. And they actually said they had to tone down the court scene because they thought that nobody would believe it. Because apparently they had to tone down the court scene because it was too insane. Well, actually, speaking of that panel thing on the Blu-ray, my favorite part of that is at one point Margaret, at that time she was like 80 something. She goes, oh, I made the movie, Tim Burton just taking the credit for it, and that is honestly hilarious. And the interviewer even says, in all my years of doing these, that's the best moment that I've ever experienced. Unfortunately, Margaret Keane passed away on June 26, 2022. She was 94, so she lived a really good long life. Walter passed away, I think, in the 80s. I didn't bother looking him up. Oh, there he is. Yeah. Oh, he died in 2000. And Wikipedia has him as an American plagiarist who became famous in the 1960s as the claimed painter of a series of widely produced paintings. Yeah, basically, he spent the rest of his life claiming that, oh, I was actually the painter of them. That was actually me. I did this and this and this. He did not. Also, most of the story takes place in San Francisco. So, there's that. So I live in San Francisco, so I'm a little biased. Unfortunately, the movie is not streaming currently, and so I was gonna buy it, and then I found out my local library has it, and this is a rare thing. I haven't done this. I hadn't done this so far in this series. Usually, I either stream it or I buy it, and then this time I went to the library and checked it out. So, yeah, support your local library, I guess. And cut.
The Rambler Network.